My name is Ellie Davis, and you are listening to the League of Women Voters Oral History. Today, I'm talking with Kathy Wright about how she pushed for the creation of the Delaware County Health Department.
So I've been in Radnor. Actually, we were here twice. We bought this home in 1978 and then moved to Ohio in 1980 and then came back here in 1984 and bought the home back. It was for sale, but when we were moving back into this area. So I've been here basically since 1980 in Radnor in this home. As far as the league, I'm not really good on remembering years. I can barely remember the kids' birthdays, and I remember specific events, but I'm not great on years. But I have been a member. I have no clue. Maybe 10 or 12 or 15 something years. I like. I'm. I was raised in sort of a political family. Someone was always talking about politics somewhere, or a zoning issue, or the neighborhood watch, or that sort of thing. And then I like the nonpartisan part of it because we all have differences and we need to respect those differences and we can learn from them. And so I really liked that part of it. And that's sort of the story. Yeah. I think all of the issues are important at different times for us, whether it's environmental or obviously election, fraudulent elections, or Citizens United, where, people could pay a gazillion dollars to one particular candidate. I mean, the inequities are really the glaring part of it that I think all of us in the league sort of focus on, whether this doesn't matter the subject, kind of.
Ms. Wright has been a strong advocate for creating the Delaware County Health Department.
Well, Radnor Township has a board of health. It's like maybe it's 5 members, and they're one of the few municipalities in Delaware County that does have a board of health. I believe Chester has one also. Radnor has a board of health and has for a number of years. There was a veterinarian. They would talk about issues with rabies and, obviously issues that were important to Radnor people, but not the global view that a Department of Health can have for its citizens. Because I'm a critical care nurse, I am particularly passionate about this county board of health. Rosemary Halt has been very active talking in front of the Radnor board for over the past 10 years. She's done presentations on a regular basis, maybe every 2 years. And one of the comments that was made at the last Board of Health of Radnor meeting that I went to, where Rosemary Halt presented, basically, Johns Hopkins did a study of how a board of health can make a difference in the lives of its citizens. And when she was finished with her presentation, one of the members, I'll just keep it generic like that, one of the members said, well, here in Radnor, we have a board of health. We don't really need a health department. To which Rosemary Halt said, well, there are 48 other municipalities that do need some involvement. And I just thought that was rather telling. The fact that just because we don't need it doesn't mean that there are other people who wouldn't benefit greatly from it. And obviously the pandemic has been a glaring reminder that we really do have to have our own Delaware County Board of Health, Department of Health. There's state funding that the a Department of Health can have access to that a Board of Health in a municipality would not. Like during the pandemic, I did write a letter to, I wrote a letter to our health officer in Radnor. She's new to me, the health officer in Radnor. And I just explained my my view of why we needed a Department of Health in Delaware County. So the pandemic really brought that to the forefront about why we do need something like that.
Thankfully, today, the creation of the Delaware County Health Department is underway.
Well, so there's a lot of articles on Google if you do that. So it says, and so there's one article particularly that says, which I always found interesting, the state of Pennsylvania does not mandate county health departments. In 1968, a majority vote declined to form a health department in Delaware County. I think, not to be too political about it, but I believe that the county council members that were recently voted, who happen to be Democrats, have pushed greater for this over the years than the Republican members of county council. And I think the Republican members felt that we were all just fine without a county board of health. That, but we certainly needed something like that. And the Democratic members, Dr. Monica Taylor, is particularly involved in this, and they're forming this the Delaware County, pardon me, Board of Health under this under their auspices. They took over the Acme in Yeadon, I believe, and they made that the beginning of our health department. That's where one of the main location apparently is going to be, in Yeadon. And if you look that up, there was an article, they were all there. They opened it under much celebration several months ago. So that's going to be kind of the beginning. That's going to be where the Delaware County Health Department is going to be primarily located. And then they're supposed to have one or two other locations.
Ms. Wright is hopeful about how the Delaware County Health Department will improve collaboration between communities in Delaware County so we can all improve our public health together.
Well, let me see. Well, it's about public health, and so public health is a little bit different than just like the health of a neighborhood, because it deals with so many issues, like where does the trash in Radnor go? Well, it goes down to Chester, where it goes into, and now the increase in chronic asthma, childhood asthma, chronic lung disease, all of those public health issues are impacted by where do we send our trash in Radnor? Obviously, we don't want any part of it. Well, why should someone else have to have an unsafe environment or be told to stay in their home if it's a particularly humid or difficult day? That's, the public health is really, and I'm just hoping that I really want, also health equity is really important. I mean, we can say it politically the nicest way we possibly can, but here in Radnor, we have more advantages than people in other parts of Delaware County. And I don't think that we should be grateful for that. But we also need to understand that we don't live in a vacuum, and that if everybody counts or nobody counts. And I just think it's really, really important that that we focus on everyone. And I think COVID really, because Chester County helped us by signing us up for the shots and all of that kind of stuff, but we tuned into Montgomery County every day to hear what they had to say on their dashboard with regard to how many cases there were. So why would we not in Delaware County be able to look at that on a county level? And I believe that we are a big enough county. We're like one of the largest counties by population in the country that doesn't have a health department. How can that be? Why should that be? And so it's all about healthy lifestyles too. It's also just, again, about parks and rec and walking and or exercising. It's public health and it's about communicable diseases, obviously COVID being one of them, but yes, and about not just about the rabies in your town, you know. So yes, and it's also let's see. So it says here under Delaware County, Pennsylvania, it says here the new county health department recommendations will embody the principles of public health 3.0 and that reflect the foundational public health services programs that must be provided by public health departments. And all, again, we shouldn't live in a vacuum. We should be communicating with the entire state of Pennsylvania. I think, yes, it makes it harder because you have to listen to other people and hear what they have to say, but that's what it's all about, I believe, anyway.
Ms. Wright also talked about how the League is constantly evolving to fit the needs of the community.
I think it's evolved just the way our environment has evolved, the way the people, what more that we're addressing has evolved. I mean, obviously, our environment has changed, and we have problems with water and environment and trees, like Fenimore Woods. That's now being addressed, and so I think it's a reflection of our lives. And the women and men, we had several men. We don't have men, as far as I know now, but we had several men who were involved. It's not strictly women at all, but that's how it sort of came about. The League did, to empower women, really, and to show people that. But again, it's certainly men are very important. And I think the nonpartisan part of it, people can say what they want about a group of women generally, but the fact that we're nonpartisan, I think, is a huge draw to make people give attention to what we say. But we have been involved in environmental and obviously the fracking and all of that went on in the state of Pennsylvania with regard to accessing, in Middle Pennsylvania with the what am I trying to say? Roberta was particularly brought it to our attention about the fracking that was going on and the potential for destruction of the environment in all of these different places.
Mrs. Wright's favorite events with the presence of the League of Women Voters are the Fall Festival and the Memorial Day Parade.
Well, the Fall Festival, I love participating in it. It's a good way to see our neighbors, and I believe we're going to have one this September in the center of town again, which will be our first one, I think, in a couple of years. But we, of course, they march in the Memorial Day Parade, and this year they did especially because some years we didn't have enough people or something like that. And then we have visited downtown with the Liberty Bell and all of that downtown, and that sort of thing. So, but with COVID, it sort of put things on the back burner for the last 2 years. So, but we've tried to get together as best we can. We had Zoom meetings, and which is really cool. So we were able to be together, even though, and be safe.
Ms. Wright also spoke about the welcoming nature of the League.
I feel like it's a wonderful experience. It's a positive experience if people have thoughts about the environment or healthcare or any other issues in their life, including elections, obviously the 2022 coming up, and what's going on now with I don't want to sound too political, but what's going on. I think it's important if people want to be involved in what's going on outside of their home and their family, if they have any extra time to do that. I think the League can provide multiple opportunities and areas of interest for just about everyone, because there's always someone who's interested in something. The fact that this is our 100th year celebration of the women having the vote, that was kind of special. And we also do, now we're going to go back and do the cases in the library. Again, it's just, it's just a wonderful group of people, and it's not confined to women. As you can know, it's confined to younger, older, men, women, you know. The thing I like about the league is that, and I think it's is is that, well, actually, Josh Shapiro, our attorney general, just made it. He's see him on Facebook, and it was interesting because he said that everybody, no one is safe unless everyone is safe. And I thought that was interesting because it comes from a particular Michael Conley book that was said that the saying in it says that everybody counts or nobody counts. But again, it's all about humanity and understanding that it's really important that we understand that we don't live in a vacuum, that we are associated with the next person that we come in contact with, or the person after that, or the person after that. So it's really important, the health and the safety of all of us, however that is. I think it's just a wonderful way to be involved and to just get involved. And you meet so many great people.
Thank you, Kathy Wright, for participating in the League of Women Voters Oral History. Next, we'll be talking with Ginny Kreitler about fair districting and voting accessibility. Thanks for listening, and remember to stay civically engaged.